The word Pan means all. Africanism, all African people coming together to fight for common goal or to be identified. So Pan-Africanism is normally globally uniting all African people, both from diaspora and the continent, to address their problems, to find a means to develop their economy, and to avoid certain things that bring African people back. This is the aim of Pan-Africanism. Talk about issues that are common, that will address the problem of black people, and try to relate nicely to other countries to bring development to Africa, and also have a dialogue to fight against too much war in Africa. This is the aim of Pan-Africanism, to bring those who are still fighting together, to talk to them, to hand over fighting and civil war, and then look forward. This is the aim of Pan-Africanism.
Pan-Africanism, what I know about Pan-Africanism is it's a forum, or it's a link of bringing the whole African people, the African nations together to fight the oppressions that normally comes from the Western way, if I put it that way, or coming from Europe. And Pan-Africanism is a force that have a lot to do with some of the ideas that Nkrumah stood for, which we, the young ones, are trying our best to hold at high esteem, because we want Africa to develop, we want Ghana to develop, and therefore we all have to hold high esteem the Pan-Africanism ideas in order to build upon what our forefathers who started the Pan-Africanism set up, and then we will have to continue.
I don't know much about Pan-Africanism, but the little I know is that a few of black people who were strong and bold came out, and then they talk about all the bad things that is being done to the blacks, and then they try to institute the spirit of Africanism into we, the young ones, and then to follow their steps, to be proud to be an African, and then try to do a lot of things for the African country.
I think Pan-Africanism is, I don't know whether to call it a concept or a movement, you know, to help Africans to see that they are all of one stock, and therefore they can, Africans, since the period of the slave trade, have been made to feel inferior to other races. And I believe that the idea of Pan-Africanism is to help Africans to regroup, not necessarily within a geographical area, but to regroup in terms of thought patterns, in terms of networking, in terms of idea sharing, so that they will understand that they are just as capable of achieving the highest goals that they set themselves. just as any other race is capable of doing that, because Africa seems to be behind other continents in development, and the continent is riddled with sickness, diseases, illiteracy, poverty, whatever. And when you find yourself in this type of situation, you are inclined, if you don't take care, to believe that you are not as good as others. And I think the idea of Pan-Africanism is to help Africans to get over this, so that they can work hard to realize their full potential. So it is for peoples of African descent, no matter where they find themselves, because wherever they find themselves, they seem to be in a less privileged position than the other races around them. And I think the intellectual and mental part of this Pan-Africanism thing is to help them to liberate themselves mentally and emotionally, because once you're able to do that, then you can also roll your sleeves and work confidently, knowing that you can achieve whatever others are achieving. That's my understanding of it.
I think the whole idea of Pan-Africanism came about for people of the black race to psych themselves and give them a common purpose so that they could get their freedom. If we consider that at the time of the bus boycott in the United States, Ghana was an independent country, then you can see the lack of freedom that the African American had at that time, when we in Ghana were living with hope that we were now independent and had a long way to go. It was basically a way of saying that those under apartheid needed our support. Those who were still colonized needed the support of the rest, and it was a slogan that we could all rally around, you know, for the purpose of freeing ourselves from domination by people of other races. I think the whole of Africa is now free, so the need to gather around some concept to help free ourselves is rather reduced. I think the civil rights movement in America has done its part. To a large extent, the black American is much freer than he was at that time. And I think women have rather taken up the mantle of civil liberties more than the concept of the African looking for liberties. So I think Pan-Africanism needs to move to another level, which is the level of economic emancipation, economic cooperation. I'll give you a typical example. You have countries in East Asia who do a lot of export of horticultural products and so on to Europe. But when you go deep down, it's actually people of Asian origin exporting to people of Asian origin in Europe. Whether you like it or not, there must be that cooperation between people of the same race. And so people of African origin should cooperate with people of African origin across different continents, so that we can also get a certain level of economic emancipation.